Hello everyone. Welcome to Editorial Manager's new peer review experience webinar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Navneethan and I'm part of the learning content and development team. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. If you have a question at any time during the content of this session, please use the Q&A option to send your questions. I will try to answer as many questions as possible during the session today in the Q&A channel. If I cannot answer all the questions, I will reply to you directly after the session unless you post the questions anonymously. Now, let's take a look at agenda for today. So I will be providing you an introduction to the editorial manager's new peer review experience. Then we will also discuss on the user workflow which is involved in the new peer review experience. And I will provide you a demo to show how editors can invite their reviewers in Editorial Manager. And I will also show you how the reviewers will be submitting their review report in the new peer review experience environment. And then we will also see how editors can view the review recommendations and the reviewer comments in the new peer review interface. And we will see how to take a decision after we submit our recommendation in the new peer review experience. I will also share with you some of the support resources which is available. Finally, we will be checking the Q&A and we can just discuss on the questions which has been listed in the chat section. So that's about the agenda. Now we will move to the first item in the list. So Editorial Manager's new peer review experience introduces a redesigned interface which contains all reviewer comments, author responses, as well as editor comments together in one single place. You can just see the screenshot here. Um, the reviewer will be able to download the manuscript and they can just review the manuscript and they can just add their comments under the comments for author section. You will be able to see those things in the screenshot here. So reviewers can give feedback easily using a clear user-friendly interface, which will help save time and improve collaboration during peer review. So authors can also have the option to respond to reviewer feedback in one place. They can just respond to each comments the reviewer has given directly in the new peer review experience interface, which will make the peer review quicker, more open, and more engaging. So how it would be benefit for the editors is editors will be able to view the reviewer comments and the author replies together in an easy interface, allowing for faster and better decisions. So just to let you know, 80% of the authors were satisfied with the new experience. This is based on the recent rollout to few journals, which has been rolled out to the new peer review experience. Now we will just discuss on the user workflow. To give you a glimpse, the author will be submitting their article in Editorial Manager, and as editors, you will be inviting reviewers in the Editorial Manager system. And also the reviewer will be able to accept or decline the review invitation in Editorial Manager. Where they will be using the new interface is they will be using new peer review experience for submitting their review recommendations. That's when they will be using the new peer review experience. And for editors, they will be using the new peer review experience to view the reviewer comments which is received from the reviewers. And as editors, you will also be able to reply to these review comments, and you can also add your own review comments in the new peer review interface. I would also like to let you know that editors also now have the option to edit the reviewer comments in the new peer review experience. And you will be taking your decision in the Editorial Manager system. We will now see a short demo on these things which we have discussed now. For the demonstration, I will be using our test site, which will have dummy users and dummy submissions. So I have now shared the test site. I hope everyone is able to see the Editorial Manager test site, which I've just transitioned. So this is the editor main menu. I have now proxied as an managing editor to show you how we can just proceed with the process. So as editors, you will be inviting reviewers for your papers, which is assigned to you. So I'm just going to go to the new assignments folder, and I'm going to handle this submission which I've created for our demonstration. So as I discussed earlier, editors can just click the invite reviewers link so that they will have the option to invite reviewers. This will take place in the editorial manager system. So I'm just going to search reviewers based on their last name. So I'm just going to invite these reviewers. So we have now invited reviewers for this paper. I will now get back to the main menu. Now we will see how as a reviewer we can submit the review report for the paper which we have been invited. So for this, I'm just going to proxy as a reviewer so that I can just demonstrate how reviewers can submit their review report. I'm going to proxy the reviewer role. So I'm just going to proxy this reviewer so that we can see how they can just accept the review invitation which we have now sent. So the invitation is available under the new reviewer invitations folder. So as a reviewer, I can just view the abstract and I can just click the agree to review link so that we can proceed with the review process. The paper has now moved to the pending assignments folder. So this was the paper for which we just now invited a reviewer. So as a reviewer, I will be able to see a link called view and review manuscript in under the action menu. So if I just click this link, reviewers will be automatically taken to the new peer review experience interface. I'll just click this link. As I said, um, the system has automatically taken the reviewer to the new peer review interface. So from here, from here, the reviewer will have the option to download the manuscript so that they can just view and review the manuscript from here. And once they have analyzed the manuscript, they can just proceed with adding their comments to the author. So we will just see how reviewers can post their review comments to the authors. I'll just add some test comments. So just posting some test comments. And one thing to take note, even reviewers will have the option to edit their comments which they have posted. But one thing to take note is once they click the send review to editor button, they will not have the option to edit the comments. Before that, they will usually have the option to edit their comments if they have typed something by mistake. So we will just see how they can edit the comments. So if they just click the edit comment, they will have the option to edit the comments. If they have missed something, they can also include those details here. I'm just going to enter some test comments here. So once done, they can just click save changes so that the updates which they have done to their comments will be reflected here. And The notes to editor only option is available for the reviewers. Under this section, um, reviewers can provide confidential comments to the editor, which will not be shared with the authors. So any comments which you enter here will be only visible to the editors and cannot be accessed by the authors. So I'll just type some test comments here. So I'm just going to click post so that these comments are now available in the system. And once we have entered the required comments and we have also shared our confidential comments to the editor, then we can just proceed with the recommendation process. For this, I'm just going to click the recommendation tab. Under the recommendation tab, you will be able to see an option to provide an overall rating to the manuscript. You can just provide a rating to your manuscript. Under the recommendation drop down menu, you will be able to see the recommendation terms which is configured for the journal. I'm just going to select the recommendation term as a reviewer. And once I've selected, I just need to click the save button so that the recommendation is saved, and I'll also be notified the recommendation has been saved. So once we have provided the comments to the author and we have shared our confidential comments to the editor and we have chosen our recommendation as a reviewer, then we can just click the send review to editor button so that the review report is submitted to the journal office. So once it is done, you will be able to see a thank you message, which just denotes that the review report has been successfully submitted to the journal. I will now get back to the system. I will exit the proxy. And I understand we have invited another reviewer so that I will just even proxy that reviewer and add some comments so that we will be able to take a decision so that we have the required number of reviews complete for this submission. I will quickly add the review comments here and take a decision recommendation. Again, if I just click the view and review manuscript, as the second reviewer is also redirected to the new peer review experience. So I'm just going to add some comments for the author. And I'm going to add some confidential comments. And I'll also select a recommendation. And I'll now click the send review to editor button so that the review report is submitted. So we have now successfully submitted the review reports for the manuscript, which we have handled now. I will now exit the proxy of an reviewer and I will now get back to the managing editor role so that we can just see the how editors can view these review reports in new peer review experience. So for this, I'm just going to proxy as an editor. So as an editor, we will be accessing the submission with required reviews complete folder to understand the review reports which are submitted for the paper. So I'm just going to go to this folder. So this was the paper for which we invited reviewers and we also saw how to submit the review report as a reviewer. So if you just go here, you will under the review status, you will be able to see the quick recommendations submitted by the reviewers, and the editors will now be able to see a link called view reviews and complete. So if you just click this link, editors will be automatically taken to the new peer review interface. So now as an editor, you will be able to see the comments added by the reviewers. Say for example, reviewer one comment is listed here and reviewer two comments has been listed here. And again, you have as an editor, you can just reply to these comments, and also you can just edit the comment. If you feel that the language needs to be edited, the reviewer report language needs to be edited, you can just edit it. So we will see how to reply to a comment. I'll just click reply to comment, and I'll just post some test comments. So we now saw how we can just respond to these reviewer comments, and you can also add your own comments here. So the author will be able to see if you could see the editor comments are below now. Similarly, you can just go to the notes to editor only section so that you will be able to see the confidential comments submitted by the reviewers. And you also have the option to reply to those comments. And under the recommendation option, you will be able to see the recommendations submitted by the invited reviewers. Once you have done with everything, you can just click the make decision button so that you can proceed with the decision process. The another option which I would like to let you know is, apart from the download manuscript button, which is available here for to view the manuscript, editors will also be able to see the download peer review button, so that when you just click this, you will be able to see a PDF getting downloaded. And this PDF, you will have the complete report, like what was the reviewer one comments and reviewer two comments and what was your comments. So you can just find all these details here if you just click this button. So now we will see how to take a decision. Once you click the make decision option, you will be taken to the editorial manager system. And you will have the option to choose the decision term from the drop down menu in the editorial manager system. So you can just choose the option. One thing to take note is it is not required to fill any details here. Authors will receive clear comments on how they need to proceed with the review process. They will receive comments like they need to view and respond to the reviewer comments in the new peer review experience. So it is not required for editors to populate any data under the comments to author section. Here you will be able to see the instructions being defaultly given by the system. So it is not required. I would like to reiterate, it is not required to add any comments manually under this decision screen. You can straight away go to the proceed option and you can just submit your decision. So here you will be able to see the decision letter. So I would also like to highlight that, see, in the letter, everything will be clearly mentioned for the author. For example, here you can see that your manuscript have been reviewed in the Elsevier's online peer review environment, allowing you to see the reviewer comments directly. And you can also see the instruction is clearly given. If this is the case, you will be able to view the following view and reply to reviews link. So authors will clearly see this instruction, and if they follow these instructions, they will be able to respond to the review comments in the new peer review interface. Now I will just submit the decision for this paper. Yeah, the decision is now submitted. And finally, I will also show you how the authors will be able to view these comments which are submitted by the reviewers and the editors. For that, I will be proxying the author. And I would like to let you know that in the letters which is being sent to the authors, reviewers, and editors, clear instructions will be provided in the letters which is being sent from the system on how to access the review comments, or how to review, or how to see a decision. For each and every role, clear instructions will be provided in the letters which is being sent from the editorial manager system. Now I'm just going to proxy as an author so that I can see the reviewer comments and the editor's recommendation. So I'm just going to proxy as an author so that we will be able to see the review comments which we submitted now and the editor decision which was provided for the paper. So as an author, I will be able to see the paper which I need to revise under the submission needing revisions folder. Just clicking this link. So once when I click the link, as I mentioned earlier, in the decision letter, we will have clear instructions on which link needs to be accessed, and all the details will be there. So once when author goes and access the paper, they just need to click the view and reply to reviews link, which is available under their action menu. Once they click this link, they will be automatically taken to the new peer review interface, where they will be able to see the reviewer comments and the editor's comments here. And they will also have the option to respond to the reviewers and editors comments in the new peer review experience. So I will just show you how authors can respond. So authors will have the option to respond to each and every comments which is being listed here. This will make it more interactive for the peer review process. Once you respond to each and every comment, you can just click the post button so that your comments are now posted. So as authors, you can also download the copy of the download peer review so that you will be able to see the reviewer comments, editor comments, and the response which you have provided in the system. By just clicking the download peer review, you will be able to download the PDF, which will have all the details entered, which can also be a reference for you. And once you have responded as an author to all the reviewer and editor comments, then the author can just click the send review response so that their response to the reviewer comments is submitted to the journal. Once this is done, authors can just get back to the editorial manager system and then proceed with the revision process. This is how authors can respond to the reviewer and editor comments in the new peer review experience. I will now get back to the slides. So to provide you a summary, we just saw how as an editor, we can invite the reviewers in the editorial manager system. And we also saw how reviewers can submit the review report in the new peer review experience system. And then we also found how authors can respond to these reviewer comments and then submit their reviewer response in the new peer review experience. So there are some support materials which are available for editors. After this meeting, I will also make sure to share these support materials with you. There is an editor guide available. This editor guide will have clear FAQs of what are the editorial tasks which you need to perform in the new peer review experience environment. Thank you for listening to the content of today's session. I will now launch a short poll. Your response to the poll is much appreciated.